So this is out there somewhere, and more specifically any percent in-game time. This is a little indie platformer where the main game mechanic revolves around a teleport gun, where basically wherever you shoot a projectile and wherever it hits, you get teleported. The only caveat being you need to be more than a block away from the wall you're hitting, which will be important later. Also, if you're moving upwards at a certain speed, you also get a boost when you teleport, so you can essentially do kind of double jumps off walls if you time it correctly, and if you're standing close enough, which we do a lot. We call them boosted jumps. We do a lot throughout the whole run. But yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna get started though. We're gonna start with a shoot 'em up section, but you don't actually get any progress towards finishing the game there. You do end up meeting the last boss, but he's invincible at that point, so for speedrunning the best thing to do is to just die as quickly as possible. So that's what we're gonna do. Now when we spawn in here, I'm gonna try and get a shot off, which doesn't save much time at all, but everyone does it, so. And for the first couple of rooms, you just want to try and shoot as early as you can after going to the next room. And then mashing through the dialogues don't really matter for this category because it's an in-game category and the timer is paused whenever there's dialogues open. Now we're getting to what is probably sort of the most famous and biggest skip, and I got it on the first try, so I don't have time to explain it. But oh, and I missed. I was supposed to do a warp there, which saves me having to walk through this entire room. But it's not that big a deal. It's like 5.5 seconds. Now we're gonna dip into the game again for... Oops! I missed getting the heart. We're gonna dip into the game for a bit again to get this heart. We're gonna need it for some damage boosting later, but then we're gonna climb out of bounds again before we head back into the level. So yeah, in a little bit you're gonna see more of the boosted jumps. Right here we're gonna do what's called a circle jump, where you sort of circle around to get one block away from the wall so that your teleshot actually hits. This shot is kind of difficult because you have to do it right after the room transitions, and if you do it too early, then obviously the teleshot never appears, and if you do it too late, then you just hit the wall and fall down. Now we're in the city and we're gonna go down into this cave to get the Gauss gun, which we don't really use that much, but we do need it to progress with the game. We need it to break this breakable block to get out of the city. Now we're gonna get to here, we're gonna do some more. Oops, I did not have enough time to land there before the teleshot hit the wall. Oops. This game is really good for people who want to get into speedrunning, I think. Since it's room-based, sort of learning strats, you can learn strats sort of room by room, and you can sort of improve your strats room by room, which makes it very easy to learn and improve your times. In any case, we're soon coming up on what probably is one of the scarier parts for beginners especially. It's a pretty deadly... Yeah, okay, I missed there. Oh, okay. Missed again. Let's try that again. That's better. Yeah, it's one of the deadlier sections of the game, and it's particularly scary because there's a really there's a really long section right here where, or right now, where you're not getting any checkpoints. So we had one at the very bottom of the tower, but we still haven't gotten the next checkpoint. So dying, so there's the checkpoint. But dying any point there is quite bad. We're gonna use a new strat here where we avoid the checkpoint up there. Usually we would death warp to that checkpoint, but we're gonna death warp to the previous one. It's slightly faster, which means we need to take damage right here, so that's intentional. We need to talk to this guy. I'm gonna take just a small break here. So the timer is, the in-game timer is paused right now, since this is an in-game time category. I can take a bit of a break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fall into the brute down there, which will cause me to death warp up to the checkpoint, like so. I missed. You can do sort of a boost off the wall to do that a bit faster. We're sort of in what I guess would be the middle of the run. I keep missing this. Okay, there we go. No, it's a bit further than middle, I guess. But here is the last alien we need to talk to. These aliens open doors, and you need to talk to them to progress through the game. There is a third one, but for this category we can ignore him completely by using a skip later on. Here we're going to do a chain jump. Essentially, if you have two walls that are either 3 blocks apart or 2 blocks apart, you can chain together boosted jumps to sort of climb really as high as the walls extend. Now you're going to see why we bothered getting all those hearts. It allows us to boost through a lot of enemies, and it also allows us to do some boosts here, which give us some extra height and makes the rooms a bit faster. And we're going to do another boost right here, hopefully. Yep, we got it. This can be a bit tricky. Now coming up there is a very fickle trick called green beam jump, where we sort of have to move to the left and jump. And for some reason I'm not getting it right now. Yeah, okay, at least I can explain it properly. So we can move to the we can move to the left of lock and jump, so we can get around it. This is because we have a couple of frames after teleporting where we can still jump even though we're not technically standing on the ground. And that was a... Yeah, I'm bad with direction sunsets. Anyway, now we're getting up to the very end here. We have 2 boss fights left, one that's on ground and one that's on foot. The skip I just did, or that I did not in the previous room, but yeah, a couple of rooms ago, it's kind of neat, and it involves having a setup shot that sort of teleports you to somewhere where you can stand on the ground. I missed again, so I'm gonna take damage there. Yeah. I planned to try and salvage that, but I didn't. There, we got it right. So, oops, god damn it. Messed up again. So this boss fight shouldn't be this hard if you're a speedrunner. You essentially just have to get 3 shots on him, and if you do it quick enough, you don't even need to worry about him shooting you at all. I just messed up a bit. And then we get the light orb, which is, this is the second to final room in the game. We need the light orb. Well, we technically don't need the light orb, but according to the story of the game, we need the light orb to upgrade our ship so we can actually beat Grigori, which this is the final boss fight. So since it's a bit faster to mash on controller, I'm gonna be using that. As you can see, the timer is still, the in-game timer is still paused, so I can take my time and get ready here. Beat any second now. There we go. 7:07 is a pretty good time. Usually like to be sub 7, but for no reset, it's not that bad. But yeah, that was out there somewhere, 100% in game time.